But these are desperate times, and that calls for desperate measures. That's why we're going to do a rebrand.
This is going to end up badly, isn't it?
And everyone was killed?
All but 3. And their alibi is very, very dumb.
That is one way to end an episode. I mean, not as bad as I thought it would logically be, but worse than I feared. See, what I love about American Dad is how these mundane situations the family gets into can turn incredibly abstract. For example, where the last episode concentrated on Francine, Roger, and Stan robbing a bank, this episode concentrates on Jeff, Haley, and Roger going to a spa, while Stan and Bullock are in the CIA in the B plot of the episode. Overall, it was an improvement on the first episode. It's far less one-sided toward a single plot, which is really a good thing, and as a result, I found this one a lot more enjoyable. I mean, I know many of you enjoyed the last episode, but it just was so heavy on the single plot, it just lost me. The second episode of Season 21, entitled The Brown Lotus, follows Jeff, Haley, and Roger through a rather humorous adventure at the Brown Lotus. Keep in mind, there will be spoilers. See, Haley has an issue. She's treated badly at Subhub and needs a vacation. So Roger invites her to the Brown Lotus, a resort in Langley Falls. Of course, it's a parody of the now infamous show, The White Lotus. Haley retires to her room hearing the story of the wolf-headed boy. A boy who wanted to be the fastest boy alive and so wore a wolf's head. This drove the boy insane and the boy threw himself off a cliff.
They say the mercurial winds of Langley Tano are his howls, and if you listen too closely, they will make you go mad as well.
In the American Dad tradition, Roger is also at this spa. His persona this time is Rochedo Ferretto, who is there to disperse the ashes of her assistant. What follows is a contest between Roger and Haley. Each wants to see who gets better service, Roger being rude and crass the entire time, or Haley being nice and kind. It doesn't matter, of course, because Haley uses Jeff to abuse the staff to get her way. This episode ends with Haley being driven insane by those very winds I mentioned earlier, and driving the ship to a nearby island where a storm kicks up. Rochetto's urn turns out to be filled with marbles and the picture of assistant flipping Rochetto off. The winds take the marbles and basically pelt everyone on board to death. Well, except for the Smiths. Yes, that does mean that my beginning intro was absolutely, positively, 100% misleading. I don't care. It was funny. But anyway, the CIA has a minor plotline this episode where a complete lack of popularity among Congress has led to their defunding. They have a small rebrand.
The cake,
and head to a show where they are forced to bake 2,000 cakes. They succeed in winning the show only for the terrorists to come into the Capitol and attack Congress, stealing their alcohol or some other bullshit, who in turn grants the CIA their funding back, and the entire group riots. Like I said before, overall a much episode than the last one. I enjoyed that there's an actual B plot this time. I will admit, I wanted to see more of the CIA side plot. It was so completely, utterly stupid, but in an entertaining way. Instead, out of this 20-minute episode, the CIA portion is roughly 4 minutes long. Haley's storyline could have stood a sacrifice a couple minutes here and there, but it really couldn't lose much. And even then, I still found Haley's story entertaining. Haley wants to show kindness is the key to getting what you want, but ends up using Jeff to abuse the staff. So basically, she shows Roger that she's kind, and Jeff abuses him behind the scenes. Truthfully, it was entertaining, but I found it ultimately self-defeating. And yes, this is the part of the episode where I post critiques. I'm so sorry. Welcome to YouTube. I'm not sure why Haley would be the one to do this. These tactics are more of Stan or Roger's method. And honestly, that is something I noticed last episode as well, where Francine was the one who participated in the bank robbery, but Haley and Francine are far less random and self-serving than the other two. Yet here they are, altering their characters for no real reason. While characters do change within the show, for example, Klaus changed from a pervert to the family punching bag to a frat bro. Overall, Klaus had a lot of improvement during these past 21 seasons, but that happened over a multitude of episodes. But here, in the first 2 episodes of season 21, there was immediate change in Francine and Haley with no immediate payoff or buildup. I mean, nothing like crying in the shower like that damned wuss Jeff. More like wondering if the drive is going to take longer than 5 minutes as you're pulling into the McDonald's. It's a minor worry, but it's something that is solved just by kind of existing and then entering the drive-thru. And because here's the thing, as far as I can understand, there's no reason for Haley to go this far into the bed. If it were Stan, sure, he'd do anything to win. I mean, Stan invaded Francine's dreams because he was so insecure. Okay, granted, the only way this plotline could even start is with Haley because no one else would give a flying fuck. So I understand why this is her plotline. There's even a bit at the beginning where Haley faces the same kind of abuse that she says won't work. Evidently it does. I just don't think that she'd go this far to win a bet against Roger of all people. I mean, she's tired with his shit. The entire family is tired with his shit. And they clearly don't care much about his shenanigans. In fact, she is smart enough to know that the minute she sends Jeff to start harassing people, her bet is over. However, now that I think about it, I am kind of forgetting that bit at the end where the wind is supposed to drive people insane. Or that portion, Haley's insanity, is covered in the last 3 to 4 minutes. I honestly think this plotline could have worked the way it did had that supernatural force started sooner. But with that being said, the B plot is actually kind of fun. I just really wish there was more of it. It's something that can only really work in American Dad. The literal CIA, the entire multi-billion-dollar organization that's charged with worldwide spying, is now devoted to making cakes. And I really like when Dick comments,
"We can drop a 10-tiered chiffon cake into a war zone from 2 continents away. I think we can get a race car cake to Chesterfield Park by Friday."
I mean, it's one of those ideas where it just is so completely off the wall, so completely stupid, that it doesn't seem like it should ever work. Here's the thing, at any given time, every character in this show is both the straight man and the over-the-top slapstick comedy. Sometimes both at once, which comes into the problem. There's not much to talk about this plotline. I mean, out of the 21-minute long episode, this plotline is about 4 to 5 minutes. Other B-plots are much closer to 50% of the total runtime, and this one barely breaks 25% of the runtime. I would just love more time devoted to this concept, but we just don't have it. It was clever, hilarious, and provided a lot of entertainment. It just wasn't enough, and I want more. But that is all I have in my first impressions. It's thankfully not dependent upon a single trope like the grocery store bank, and as a result has more appeal. As for some positivity, I do love their callbacks. Background characters popping in and out of the episodes make Langley Falls feel like a real town. This episode features the myth of the wolf-headed boy, for example, and when added into legends like Old Ulysses, the American Dad world seems a lot more lively. It seems like a real world with multiple cultures and multiple myths. And frankly, it's funny that when we see the Brown Lotus, it's actually from an angle we have never seen Langley Falls before. Every exposition shot of Langley Falls is at this specific angle. When it comes to the Brown Lotus, complete opposite. And I've honestly found that great. I honestly wonder what is behind every other camera, behind every other scene. Is it Castle, Delmonico's hideout, aliens? I mean, the world really wants to know here. But with that being said, I just wish right now we had more of the popular side characters like Tuttle or Rogu. I mean, I'm sure we'll see them. I really do. But we just haven't seen them yet. But now, with that being said, everyone please have fun and enjoy your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and while there isn't much here, feel free to look at my Patreon. I just put up a vote, and I'm going to be using it more the more popular my channel gets. But everyone please enjoy and have fun.